Okay, so today we're flipping the script. Instead of arguing whether PvE should exist in Arc Raiders, we're gonna be designing the best and the most unique version of PvE we can. But before we bust out the drawing board, I'll just say that this is my version and how I think it could work. It is not a I want it to be like this or it sucks kind of deal. If you by any chance have your own interpretation or disagree with some of my choices, tell me in the comments. Let's have a discussion. Got that? Good. Let's dive right in. For a start, let's first establish the rules of the PvE mode. When you queue up for a mode, you should get a warning along the lines of, in this mode, friendly fire against other raiders is turned off, loot is evenly distributed, and arc behavior is more dangerous. And with that, we get into the maps and loot. I think the maps are pretty good and in terms of structure or layout, don't need to be changed. But there are a few tweaks I'd implement. Remove the red and yellow zones, but keep the building roles like medical, residential, electrical, etc. The loot needs to be evenly spread across the entire map, as well as no limitations. What you can get in PvE, you can get in PvE. Keep containers like backpacks, gun cases, and raider caches equally rare and randomly spawned. Since we can't really shoot each other for the loot, I will propose something very controversial. Make the loot player specific. What do I mean? If a player loots a locker, it is looted for them, but not the rest of the people in the raid. That way, if someone loots a particular locker, that doesn't leave everyone else with nothing. I think that also solves the issue of everyone in the raid just gunning for one location as fast as they can. Or if you don't think that's a good solution, maybe the loot refreshes every 10 to 15 minutes, but only for the common lootable containers. Gun cases would still be first come first serve, and so would arc corpses. What about key rooms? I think those should either follow the first come first serve rule and loot doesn't respawn or appear for the players once the key room is looted. Or, since I know there will be some greedy motherfucker waiting in front of the door for you to open it, only the key holder that opened the door can loot. People can come into the room, but they can't take anything. But most importantly, make the loot spawns logical. I don't want to find an industrial battery in a fucking fridge or olives when opening a computer. And now for my absolute favorite part, making the top side absolutely miserable for raiders. The arc threats. Okay, miserable was a bit dramatic, but topside definitely needs to be more of a life or death situation. So let's start with arc abundance. Increase the numbers of more difficult arc enemies across the whole map, and don't give them a set spawn, make them spawn randomly in each area. Instead of 2 wasps and a hornet patrolling, we should have several platoons of arc enemies scouting the area, 4 wasps and 3 hornets per platoon, let's say. The snitch, I would give a bit of an overhaul. Instead of calling in arc from above, the snitch alerts every arc in the vicinity of where you are. The noise will keep going and the alarm will keep ringing until you take it out or leave the area. That way it forces the player to take it out quickly or try to make a run for it before the arcs show up. And they don't just show up with the, oh wow, what is going on over here? They show up with the,
where is this filthy meat bag? I will turn you into fish paste
attitude. This might be a step too far, but maybe smaller arc enemies like wasps and hornets could come and protect the bigger arc enemies if they get attacked in their vicinity. As for arc aggression, turn it up to 11. I want to feel threatened by the arc. Keep the detection rate the same, but if I'm spotted, I want to feel nothing but regret. Let's say you're spotted by a bastion. The bastion will shoot, but will also move strategically towards you, pushing you back and forcing you to relocate. It stops moving between bursts, giving you, the player, a chance to fight back and take out the legs. And this time, taking out the legs would actually mean something, not just another weak spot. An advantage. Take out enough legs, he won't be able to push you. This way you can turn the tide in combat. But do keep in mind, the more it's damaged, the more aggressive it becomes. And same goes for other arc threats. Or let's say you hide in a building. If he can, he will follow you through the door, so now you have an indoor bastion fight. If the doorway is too small, he'll call in a couple of wasps or ticks who can go inside and look for you if you break line of sight. You're not off the hook that easy. Well, what about buildings then? Is it safe to be in them? Haha, no. Many people expressed they'd like to see a mimic style of arc, and I am 100% on board with that idea. A humanoid arc that looks like a corpse of a raider who can use voice lines. Just make the voice slightly robotic to add to the creepiness factor. If you want to be extra, make them fight like raiders. They shoot at you, throw nades, and will push you if they get a few hits in. I think best I can compare it to is the hunter enemy type from The Division 1. They use all the gadgets a player has, and they don't just blindly push you, they try to box you in. Along them, keep the explosive and flaming Roombas around, and add a shredder or two, just for good measure. Okay, well, what about the extraction? Since there are no rats, how do we make that one interesting and dangerous? Very simple. The alarm goes off for miles. Only this time, it's not just the 2 wasps showing up, it's the whole party. When extracting, you either have to find a really good hiding spot, because the arcs that show up will be in alerted mode, or if you're in a group, you can use barricade kits and dig your heels in to defend yourself until the lift arrives. Which arcs show up? It will heavily depend on spawns and luck a little bit. Maybe you just get 1 rocketeer and a few wasps, maybe you get a bombardier and a bastion coupled with a leaper. This way, the game would force you to adapt to the situation. Listening to this, you're probably thinking this is very, very difficult. And I think that's kind of the point. I think PvE mode only makes sense if you get an equal amount of danger from PvE as you would from PvPvE. You don't fight for your loot, you fight for survival and your loot. But what would be the purpose of even going into the PvE mode? New quests and rewards. I think going topside should have a purpose. Maybe it's to upgrade your workbench or do the already existing quests or trials, but it needs to have a purpose. For those who finished all that, before you go to the top side, you get to pick a quest from the quest board. You choose a vendor and you take their assignment. As you do assignments for vendors, you get access to more dangerous ones like taking down a bastion and bringing his core to Celeste, or hunt down a mimic for Tien Wen. Rewards can range from a random green item all the way to legendary items and even cosmetics. These quests might sound very basic, but I think in a more dangerous world, the easy fetch quests can turn into nightmares real fucking quickly. As for map conditions, I think they can stay the same, just adapt the arc towards them. During the night, they might not spot you as fast or they lose you more easily. Maybe introduce a new arc specifically for night raids in the form of a stalker who has thermal vision. They wait and give audio cues they're near, and if you ignore them for too long, they jump on you, and you have to fight them off like you do with ticks. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would be the PvE mode for me. These are ideas I'd implement, and that I think could work and would be fun. But I am not a developer, and I'm betting at least 60% of this would backfire and be very different in practice. On paper, it does sound really fun, and I think it would breathe new life into the PvE side of the game. I will admit, while writing this and imagining what it could have been, I kinda did start wishing for something like a PvE mode to come to Arc Raiders. I'd like to see us raiders band together and fight back against the machines. But I think I yapped enough, now I want to hear you yap. Tell me in the comments what else would you add or what would you do differently. And of course, if you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. And that's been it from me, Raiders. Enlist, resist, and stay safe out there.